Welcome to the Tamkin community and everyone that is joining us from other platforms. I would love to welcome you to another session, which is going to be presented by Professor Eric Tsui. This session is entitled Applying Knowledge Management to Project Management. So I would, like I usually say, pay attention, be ready to take down notes, and be ready to ask questions in the moment when the moment comes. At this point in time, I'm going to now hand over the hand to Professor Eric Tsui to guide us in today's session. Professor.
Thank you. Welcome to everybody, and good afternoon to all of you. And I apologize for the minor hiccup for the delay. There must be a slight technical problem with my PC, but not to worry. I think we can proceed into this seminar without any more glitches. All right. In fact, I made this title even more specific. You can see it on the screen, and that is Driving Project Excellence Through Knowledge Management Practices. So as the name suggests, it's really about how we can apply better management of knowledge to improve many aspects of project executions. And that, of course, includes project planning, projects resourcing, project reporting, monitoring, and everything else. Now, projects, it's a common term that everybody understands, no matter which forte or discipline that you are studying or you are professionally trained for. We all understand about the concept of a project, right? And organizations have been leveraging correctly, the use of project, the concept of projects in order to accomplish various types of, goals, right? And you can see from this mind map here, a project may involve planning, may involve resourcing, may involve learning. Certainly, it involves, constant ongoing monitoring, problem identification and rectification as well. Everybody understands, if I condense the measurement of project in terms of success and progression and so forth into three major terms, then you know that a project is there to produce deliverables, quality deliverables. In other words, just something that is suitable and that is, as what is being promised in the original plan for the project. These are the deliverables. And of course, project need to run on resources. Resources need to be enough, sufficient, and even better if you can finish the project with resources to spare. That's wonderful. The third dimension also, we need to keep a very firm eye on, and that's timing. The project is the time capsule. I'll say it again. Project is a time capsule. There are definitive or defined time, start time, and finish time, right? So we suppose to accomplish everything that we are planning in the project based on the planning timeline. So the time dimension is also a very important element of a project. Well, as I said earlier, many organizations are leveraging projects to accomplish tasks and goals, and so they should. To give you a bit of statistics, 70% of organizations, in fact, are heavily dependent on projects. They have project management office, and many of their tasks and many of their, staff are actually rotated from projects to project. They work on a project basis. When you finish this project or this set of projects, you're being moved to another project and continue contributions. And during the project, you may learn, you may collaborate, you may analyze, you may make decisions, right? And project is, across all sections and industries. All industries and all sectors employ this concept of projects. If done well, project can save a lot of time, effort, and resources in order to accomplish things faster, and more economically. In fact, while this is all good news about the role of projects in organizations, it's alarming that what I've highlighted on the bottom right here, only about 74%, of projects meet the goals, but only about a third of projects are actually successfully delivered. That includes, within the time, within budget, and generating the appropriate deliverables. Right? Even more alarming, only about 1/3 of organizations fully realize the intended project benefits. So, in other words, about 2/3 of the projects really didn't fully deliver what they were originally intended for, right? And they may not be, delivering within the time frame and within the resources originally being budgeted for. So that, the background that we proceed into this seminar, and it's about how KM can enhance project excellence. What I'm going to cover principally is challenges in project management, especially from a managing knowledge perspective, right? And I'm going to explain a bit more about one type of knowledge, tacit knowledge, that is so important. However, it is poorly managed and very difficult to manage, and that contribute the majority of knowledge leakage and knowledge loss. And obviously, that has a negative impact on the success of projects. On the other hand, for those organizations that deliver project, deliver knowledge management well, they have set up the project management office with due attention to managing knowledge. So let's see how KM, various aspects of KM, can contribute to various activities inside project management. I have case studies from major organizations as well. And if time permits, I can also go into talking about how more recently, generative AI can take project management into a whole new dimension, really very exciting, developments over there. And some organizations are early adopters and are reaping the benefits. Finally, before I conclude the seminar, I would also discuss about, if KM is so contributory to project management, why, many organizations are still deferring this decision to adopt KM, or or ignoring it, even worse, right? So why is it so? Given that the writing is on the wall, good KM can help good project management. Firstly, on the KM challenges, well, I revisit to the concept of project management as we discussed earlier. You can see that as I said, many organizations are adopting projects, and all aspects of managing the projects, including planning a project, finding the right staff to join the project, informing, educating the staff about what this project is really about, preparing them for the project, injecting resources into the project, enabling staff to learn about the projects, enabling staff to communicate and collaborate, around various aspects of the project, measuring the progress of the project, and identifying problems, and then discuss about how to rectify any problems that occurs. All this are part and parcel of project management. However, as we discussed earlier, something like 70%, that's a significant percentage of projects fail. Right? Fail in the sense that they don't meet the original, prescribed deliverables, or they meet the deliverables, but they are not delivered within the originally estimated resources and time frame. So, in fact, these are some of the failures that I found from various industries. You can see that the failure is not uniform across all industries. Some industries fail even worse than others, unfortunately, but some are, doing better. But overall speaking, you can see that just about all industries suffer from major failures in projects, and we're going to have to look at why these failures occur. Well, firstly, before we discuss more about the failures, you rarely hear about about project failures, because it's not a good thing to announce, right? And it's not a good thing for a company, right? For the public to know, for your shareholders to know, for your staff to know, and for your customers to know. So, how do you spot telltale signs of failing projects? Well, there are a number of clues that I can share with you. When resources are being taken out from the project, when the project becoming more and more, silence, you hear less and less about the project. When the project is experiencing delays, when the deliverables are being rescheduled to later milestones to deliver, project slippages, right? When more and more resources are requested, sometimes more resources may be injected in the project, sometimes not. Well, these are all telltale signs of a failing project. I'm not saying that you were bound to fail, but these are certainly not good signs, and suggesting that the project is not going well. Well, it's my good friend, Grace Naja, and Ms. Naja was formerly a managing director of the PMI, Project Management Institute, in the EMEA region. So I think that covers Morocco as well, North Africa, and also part of Europe. Now, Grace has, just shared with us about some of the alarming problems that she has experienced in project management throughout her career. She's very experienced, right? So delays due to poor onboarding and project handovers, fragmentation of insights across team members and and tools. Okay, inability to locate documented materials, cannot find them, and cannot locate who are the experts in the company. Inability to scale successful practices, where you have been successful in certain areas. When you try to replicate that project, when the company try to replicate that project, they just cannot seem to identify and mobilize that expertise and knowledge to fill, what is needed in the new area, in the new geographical area to repeat the success. Disengage the project management office, right, and or passive center of excellence. In other words, these centers of excellence and PMOs are not fulfilling the role. They are somewhat at a loss. Duplication of work, that's always no good, because it's a waste of resources and time, due to lack of visibility. So you don't know what the other department has done. You don't know what a previous project has accomplished. So you are tearing your hair and trying to solve that problem again. Leadership transitions, when you change of leaders, a change of project leaders, change of project staff, there's poor knowledge flow, so that the new person coming in, the incoming person, took a lot more time to become accustomed to what's happening, and in order to move forward. So all these, according to Grace, are commonly occurring problems that lead to project failures or project delays. From the academic arena, I can also extract from research materials that these are the common reasons for failing in projects as well. You can run your eyes over it. I'm not going to repeat all of it. Changing priorities, poor requirements gathering, at least initially, right? Inaccurate requirements, insufficient senior management involvement and support, unclear goals and objectives, constant changing, the project objective, in fact, there's a term for it, scope creep, right? Undefined risk opportunities and the rest of it. All right. So these things are happening, commonly, and that also has not helped towards the success of projects. So, why is this so, and what can we do about it, especially in terms of knowledge management? Let's revisit against this picture about mind map about knowledge, about project management, right? And you can see that with the magnifying glass going through each and every one of these major concepts inside project management, be it project planning, be it project execution, be it continuous improvement, be it learning, be it decision making, and so forth. Each and every one of these tasks, I would say that they require discussions, they require accurate data, they require accurate information, they require collaboration, they require decision making, right? So if you agree with that, I think we're on the same page. What is that? And that is project management tasks. All of these tasks that considered to be part and parcel of normal project management, they are indeed knowledge intensive, very knowledge intensive activities, right? Because as I said earlier, you need accurate data, drawing from multiple sources. You need information, up-to-date information, consistent, accurate information. You need to discuss with other members, colleagues, right? And you need to make decisions, right? So these are definitely not something that you can apply straightforward rules to derive the final decision and take action. You have to discuss, you have to think, you have to draw on knowledge and experience, and you have to collaborate. So these are, naturally qualified to be knowledge-intensive activities. So I've also further captured some of the typical failures with examples on the two tables on this slide, and on the next slide you can run your eyes over it. In particular, the second column, the type of failures, and the fourth column, what exactly went wrong from the knowledge perspective, right? And I've summarized there for you already. If you focus on the second column, the highlights, the orange shaded area, it's due to poor knowledge capture, lack of knowledge reuse, inadequate knowledge sharing culture, no integration of KM and knowledge processes, right? KM and project management processes, failure to capture tacit knowledge, ineffective lessons learned, and no measurement of knowledge value, and the rest of it. So if I tabulate these two, list the problems together, in fact, I can summarize it in the next page, and that is, these are the commonly occurred, project management problems from a knowledge management perspective, knowledge sharing hurdles, lack of documentation of best practices and appropriately sharing them, unclear documentation standards, let alone insufficient effort. People don't even know exactly what to document, how to document it, when to document it, right? Ineffective knowledge retention. There's a lot of knowledge loss and leakage, which I'll discuss in the next section. Inadequate training and slow onboarding. Bringing on the new staff is not fast. It's complicated, right? And it's morale breaking as well. So it costs time and effort to bring a new staff on. He or she cannot start the next day after you come to work. More like weeks or sometimes months before you can fully integrate into the team and move forward. And diverse background in culture and teams. Culture, people elements is always the stumbling block in many projects. All right, so the writings on the wall. If we are to rectify this problem, we have to look for the aspects of KM that can help to prevent exactly things on the left-hand side column. Loss of tacit knowledge, to minimize poor documentation, to delete or to eliminate outdated content, to break knowledge silos, to install governance and ownership, right? To overcome cultural resistance, right? Overcome technical limitations, and also enable ROI measurement. Why enabling ROI measurement? Because the management are typically risk aversive. So if you cannot justify, in a strong sense, why investing in KM can help to eliminate the risk and even better, to produce tangible results, you're not going to get the budget. You're unlikely to get a budget to do anything with KM on your projects. So let's have a look at about the knowledge dimension and the impact of knowledge loss. And in this regard, I like to play this video. Now it's silent, doesn't matter because the words are on the screen. So let's have a look at this video first, and then we discuss. It's a very short one. Right, I think you get it. Emphasis is important, but knowing where to tap is really the key to the solution there. So what it illustrates, it's the experienced retired engineer. He has a lot of tacit knowledge. The tacit knowledge is not documented, right? Now the young engineers, they are qualified. They've undergone lots of training, right? Yet they do not have the intuition. They do not have the experience to know how to start the engine, because it's not documented, right? You can't document everything, of course. So that's very much left to something that is still in our head. And that, in this case, the retired engineer wins because he or she must have experienced lots and lots of scenarios. That's why, they are being called experts, right? And especially over decades of experience, they have accumulated a lot. So that illustrates the importance of tacit knowledge. In fact, tacit knowledge is always a tough nut to crack in knowledge management. This is a very common, protocol for representing tacit knowledge. The iceberg, right? Above the waterline, the cruise ship can clearly see the iceberg, the size of it, but not aware, not visible above the water. You can't estimate how big the iceberg is below the waterline, and in fact, it's huge, a lot more than that. Exactly, it's a good analogy to illustrate explicit knowledge, which is documented. And you can manipulate it, you can print it, you can rewrite it and whatever, right? but tacit knowledge is still something that is in our head. It has not been externalized. And the unfortunate thing is there's a lot of tacit knowledge, a lot more tacit knowledge than explicit knowledge that we all possess. And even worse, we can't put a finger on it, right? We can't describe exactly what sort of tacit knowledge we have. That's just when we have, the cue will come and we'll record it. And sometimes we don't even know that we actually know that piece of knowledge. So that's not getting too abstract there, but you understand what I mean. Tacit knowledge is a lot more valuable, kind of very difficult to encompass it, to describe it. And unfortunately, we lost Professor Naka, who is the father of tacit knowledge management early this year. But for decades, he has been advocating the importance of tacit knowledge among many other publications. One of his most famous is the Knowledge Creating Company. It's a recommended reading for everybody, Knowledge Creating Company by Professor Ikujiro Nonaka. And Professor Naka, is a strong advocate for tacit knowledge, and so he should, because he has proven tacit knowledge is, it's a source of all knowledge. Explicit knowledge derived from tacit knowledge. Without tacit knowledge, there's no explicit knowledge. So we must focus on how to entice tacit knowledge, how to create an environment for easy and natural sharing of tacit knowledge. Well, how does tacit knowledge actually come to occur? Very easy and very common. Look at this, seemingly a very, common conventional office environment. You have tacit knowledge when people are talking, they are sharing tacit knowledge, because they are not writing anything down. It's purely conversations, right? That's tacit knowledge. Where people reading something, they are interpreting something from explicit and converting it into tacit in their mental model. We have people thinking, that's definitely tacit, right? And we have people also practicing what they have learned, and that's also making use of tacit knowledge as well. Real working environment, the situation is even more, elaborate and complex. We have people in the organization, in various departments, people work on projects, they may communicate, they may generate documents and so forth. But there are always leakages because not everything is being documented. Okay, well, we have intranet, we have search engines, we may have retained some of those documents, but again, you have to assume that there are still a lot of leakages. But then for medium to large organizations, they don't just have one or few units, they have many units. They have departments, they have sub-departments, they may even have regional offices. So they have inter-organizational or interdepartmental collaborations. They may have intra-organizational collaborations as well. And all those also involve the sharing of tacit knowledge and knowledge flow. And guess what? More leakages. So, situation is quite bad. Normal days of operation, I think less than 1%, even less than 1%, much less than 1% of knowledge is actually documented. Then you have due to economic downturn, some organizations are sending staff away, a dreadful thing, layoffs and voluntary termination and so forth. And so people are packing up and leave. You may achieve a better result in the bottom line, in the financial bottom line, in the near future. But in the longer term, it hurts deeply to the organization. Why? Because you can see here, people are leaving, the brains are leaving the organization. That's all the tacit knowledge walking out of the company. What's more, something that nobody can escape, everyone is aging, right? So every organization have aging staff, and almost every month or so, you may have the people retiring, they're exiting the workforce, they're exiting the organization. Again, more knowledge loss. So, in summary, these knowledge loss, especially with tacit knowledge, you will see that in staff retiring, you can see that in employee turnover. You also have, tacit knowledge stuck in various departments, not being flowing through various departments because of the flow, because of the compartmentalization issue or set up inside organizations, and also much of the tacit knowledge is also not captured, so failed the documentation as well. On all these translate to significant risk for organizations. Risk in not knowing what other people have done, risk in wasting time to repeat tackling the same problem, waste in overspending resources, time, and efforts in achieving something, right? So based on statistics from, among others, PwC, Pricewaterhouse, and Coopers, you can see that, wow, these are really alarming statistics. 213% of annual salary wasted for specialized employees, and they're 65% more likely project delays due to people without historical knowledge access, and compromising customer satisfaction and so forth, and even reduce companies' innovative capabilities. So what are organizations doing about this knowledge leakage? Not much, other than to realize and confess that knowledge leakage is a significant problem to hindering organizations' competitive advantage. You can see that the various organizations have industry leaders have also serviced this problem, but because, as I said, even in knowledge management, among the experts, among the researchers, reducing the leakage and the loss of tested knowledge is indeed a tough nut to crack due to many difficult problems, which can be the subject of a separate seminar, right? So I'm afraid that this stage is not much being done, other than to nurture loyal staff and also try to create an environment where tested knowledge is naturally or easier to be shared and flow through business processes. So there you go. Grace worry is proven, right? So in the last 10 minutes, I think I've just walked you through, because of the massive loss of tacit knowledge and other types of knowledge. There's onboarding delays, there's duplicated work, there's process inefficiency, meaning to waste time and effort and money, and also to lead to downgrade in customer satisfaction. So it all points to, at the end of this section, it makes a lot of sense for us to think about how to integrate, how to permeate more KM initiatives into project management tasks, in project management planning, initiation, project kickoff, project monitoring, project reporting, and project improvements. So let's see, for organizations that have set up the project management offices, in other words, these organizations routinizing project management, and they have a dedicated focus with the team, focus on getting projects to operate as successfully as possible. Firstly, a little bit more about KM, knowledge management, because it's kind of a term that there's still the non-uniform definition out there. I like to use a definition of knowledge associate. Knowledge management is the new discipline of enabling individuals, teams, and entire organizations to collectively, systematically, and continuously share, create, and apply knowledge to better achieve the business objective. This sounds simple, right? So, but to take up that task and accomplish successfully, it's a daunting task, right? So, I would say that among other things, good KM can surely help to reduce knowledge loss, as we see in the previous session. Knowledge loss contribute to a significant degrade of project achievements. So on the other hand, if we to leverage on KM in a good way, we can see some of these problems easily answer and swiftly answer. What kind of knowledge do we actually have within the organization? Can we quickly locate person X with expertise in area Y within our organization? Who did this last time? Oh, can I learn from that person, right? Where can I find and learn knowledge about this? How to carry out specific process, right? Any documentation. So all these and more, with better KM efforts, supposedly, the organization would be more agile, more responsive, and save time and effort and money in answering these questions, which obviously, can lead to competitive advantage for that organization. So success manifests in a number of things, increase in hopefully sales, number of customers, quality and consistency of decision making, quality of service, and a lot more. And it reduce in traveling time, reduce in wasting time in reinventing the wheel, wasting time in searching for something that that you should not waste time on, right? And a lot more. Okay. Another thing in the digital world, good KM can also help us to maintain, build trust, and expand the professional network. And this is extremely valuable because it leads to another pivotal element of innovation, and that is dynamic capabilities, right? Which again is beyond the scope of this seminar, but dynamic capabilities is a term that describes, that enables an organization to expand its power, its resources, its wisdom, dynamically without permanently committing to the resource, right? So it's a very powerful weapon for organization to possess, and good KM can help organization to achieve better dynamic capability. All right, well, let's go deeper into how knowledge management or any aspects of knowledge management can further enhance project management. So we talk more about the knowledge about projects. What exactly in project and project management that KM can contribute? Okay, so that's the goal. So let's look at what are the knowledge involved commonly across all projects, all aspects of project. And I can round up 3 types of knowledge. Okay, the first one, the methodologies, the templates, and the checklists. And these are, especially for established organizations, for large organizations, well established with project documentations, they would have, established a repository of project documentations, methodologies to apply, the checklist. So this is a good tacit and explicit knowledge that should be, I suppose, monitor and constantly updated, right? Documented and for sharing as well. That's for explicit document, but you should have a group of experts ready to share their help with people who need it at any time. The second type of knowledge is intuition, insight, and experience of the members. That's very much to do with the skills, experience, and competency of the project members, right? So what about it? Well, you need to know this in order to do project allocation or member allocation for different projects. You need that to make sure that the people, are appropriate for tackling that project. You need to know in order to identify the gap, the learning gap that's needed for project members to elevate the skills and competency in order to have the better chance of tackling the project, because there are always new things to learn in any project, right? So, this is a second type of knowledge that is crucial for project success. And the third one is very much contributed by past project history. Excuse me. And that's lessons learned from past projects. Don't ignore it, right? For large organizations, typically they have many, many projects running in parallel. And in the past, they've also carried out many projects. So you don't doubt that many of these projects have yield good lessons learned, and that it should be documented, distilled, and shared with other team members, with other colleagues in other regions as well. Because doing so can help to avoid past mistakes and also not reinventing the wheel, which is a waste of time, resources, and energy, right? So don't underestimate it. Lessons learned from past projects is also a important contribution to project success. So with these 3 towers of knowledge, we see how KM can contribute. Well, firstly, without going into a full KM seminar, and today is not the appropriate duration for it. So anyway, I'll just condense it here. KM is a bunch of tools and processes, systems, and technologies. Okay, so in order to pick the right the set of KM initiative to address, it has to be customized, because every project theoretically is unique, right? So I can't say that you always have to use this particular technique to solve this kind of project. No, not always, right? You have to be individually analyzed and custom designed, okay? But nevertheless, at the highest level, you may consider KM as a toolbox, which contains a set of management principles, tools, technological tools and systems and processes that can help an organization to better permeate various aspects of knowledge into their operation. So if we apply this KM initiatives appropriately, it can benefit project management in several stages. You can see on the first column there, initiation, that's including identifying members to join the project, informing them, raising awareness, listing the requirements of the project, management expectation, planning the project, planning every aspect of the project, the milestones, the timeline, the stages, right, the deliverables, right? Execution, when the project is running, how to measure the ongoing progress, what are the KPIs, key performance indexes, and what if, the figures are not looking good, how to identify potential problems, and that's monitoring as well, and how to rectify situations, in a continuous way, you have to fix it before you can finish the project. And finally, closing the project is not just a stop sign, as you may recall earlier, summarizing what you've learned in this project and be able to document it and share with other colleagues. It's a key part of KM, permeating KM into project management. So closing is not, as simple as just, do a lunch together and congratulate each other, even though that you may have finished the project on time, within budget, and with quality deliverables. No, from a KM perspective, you have much to follow up as well. So research has identified consistently organizations have leveraged on these 5 things in knowledge management to enhance project performance and increase the chance of project success. First one is knowledge codification. In other words, turning tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge, right? Document it. And lessons learned, after action review, best practices, put it into a repository, right? And make sure that people are aware such thing exists, or even better, proactively share with the people when they need it, okay? And make sure that the information in the repository is up to date. So treat them as living documents, and you have people who vet the content, periodically to make sure that they are up to date. Network and communities, right? Grouping together a group of people who are knowledgeable in certain topics, right? Offering helping hand to people who in need of knowledge in certain topics, right? So a community, it's a very common initiative in knowledge management that can fulfill this role. As I mentioned earlier, good KM can also help to identify and expand the professional network with trust, leading to dynamic capabilities. Collaboration too, it's of course, assuming that, the staff and colleagues, from a global company are scattered all over the world, so you need collaboration too to link together a conducive environment for people to share, for people to exchange, for people to to collaborate, make decisions, and co-create deliverables. And finally, you need knowledge processes, to chain all this together, because all the previous 4 things, they need procedures, appropriate procedures in order to get things done. So you need procedures for turning tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge. You need procedure for vetting this, the quality of the documented content, and then you need procedure for storing them in the repository, and you need procedure for retrieving them and delivering them to the people who need. So these are the role of knowledge processes, right? And increasingly, knowledge processes are not just corporate defined, but it should be more flexible and it's user defined as well. So, the next set of screens, this next set of slides shows you, some typical examples of how organizations have leveraged on these 5, one or more of these 5 aspects of KM. For example, capturing tacit and explicit knowledge, converting appropriate tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge, and put it in a repository, accumulating in, for example, among other things, lessons learned, best practices, and more. Using repositories, you can use repository to capture and store the best practices, KPIs, benchmarking, and many other things that has been documented. Of course, you may need a search engine, you may need navigational mechanism for retrieval. So in this case, a global financial service firm can actually use, the IT project knowledge base, which is kind of a repository to help to yield a good reduction in incident resolution time. They use a centralized code repository to help reusability of software objects and reduce software development time, among other productivity gains. Construction project lessons learned are being shared by a construction company, and again, this has led to a significant improvement in operations and safety for the construction company. Liberating past projects, as I said, document what's learned from past projects, so that the new projects, when they started, the staff would know what to avoid, what are the common mistakes, how to avoid them, and know what has been solved before, so that they can be off the mark with less risk. And this is exactly what some firms have successfully leveraged if they have started doing past project, documenting past projects. In terms of technologies, repository, collaboration tools, and project management software, and this is a more specific set of tools there, AI-powered search engines, expertise locator, to try to find staff of certain expertise to invite them to join a particular project, lessons learned database, right? Project wikis and portals for co-creation, co-editing of documents and reports, and of course, collaborating platforms so that people can contribute, people can share, people can see whether others are online, people can communicate, people can message each other. So, again, you can use, or organizations can use these processes and platforms to update project knowledge, and many have used these for the right purpose and achieve good results. And software firms can also leverage on processes and repository to keep everyone up to date, to improve, the estimation accuracy, as you see here, and also to reduce time to search for cases. Right. So going back to the worries or the failures that expressed by Grace Naja, right? You can see that quite convincingly, good KM can lead to accelerate the project startup, onboarding efficiency, reuse of templates, improve that decision making, enhance quality and consistency, and also expertise location. So there's a very good reason to use KM in project management. So maybe a few cases from very large companies, right? Especially on how they have leveraged on the first column, the 5 major contributions of KM in PM, and that is knowledge qualification, knowledge processes, knowledge repository, networks and communities, and collaboration tools. And first one of the cap is IBM. The IBM has leverage on a platform called Knowledge Exchange. It's a centralized repository for technical documents and best practices, right? It contains formal methods to capture and distribute lessons learned. So exactly what we have described before. IBM also used communities of practice, right? Which is a group of, members with shared identity, right? To share project knowledge and project solutions and innovations. They provide incentives, right? For recognizing people who share, and it has led to a very good outcome for IBM over the years. This is their repository, so they have multiple repositories, but they have a way to centralize access to these repositories. They have made good use of this knowledge in the repository for reuse, and they, because of the instant access, they are able to identify, unify that knowledge, and be able to deliver to staff instantaneously. All these are lead to better decision making, because time is of the essence, right? So team can avoid delays in making decisions. They can be rest assured that the time and the data and the information provided to them are accurate for their decision making, which is great. As you may recall, from Grace sharing on the project failures, operating with up to date data, consistent data, accurate data information is one of the major hurdles. One of the failures of that led to project being failed. Siemens, Siemens use communities and repository in a big way as well. So Siemens have the knowledge hub and the ShareNet system, which is again is a repository, as well as collaboration tool. They have implemented AI tools to analyze knowledge. They create expertise locator system, and also establish best practice databases. So much reinforcing what I've described earlier. And they also conduct regular knowledge sharings as well, face-to-face sessions. So Siemens have reported 15%, reduction in project completion time, and it's a big company, so a 15% reduction is a significant, it's a saving, right? And 30% decrease in duplicate work. So good on them. So they have formal knowledge, informal knowledge, and they are also pay high respect to securing knowledge, especially knowledge that may, that may be confidential to the clients and to the competitors as well, of course. Ford Motors also have the Ford Global Knowledge Management System, FGKMS, centralized hub for designing specification and project templates. So there you go. This time using a repository to store engineering diagram, design specs, right? Fast retrieval, so that designers can easily retrieve what has been designed before, learn about the rationale for the design, and be able to improve, very quickly, I suppose, right? Based on what other people have applied it before, right? Integrated KM with product development workflows, ensuring real-time access to validated knowledge. Implemented collaboration tools for cross-regional project teams. I would imagine that Ford, being a global company, would have many continental projects as well. So such kind of enhanced collaboration tool would be a big plus for the company. All right, so summarizing from these major companies, Google, IBM, and Siemens, together, they reported 37% reduction in rework, 45% in faster making decisions, and more than a quarter increase in innovation, and also about a quarter increase in cost reduction. So these are wonderful achievements as a result of leveraging the KM in many aspects of project management across these large companies. Okay, so given the passing of time, I'm going to go into the last session, and the AI enhanced knowledge services can be the subject of a separate seminar later on. So now, with all these, I suppose, very convincing arguments about and permeating KM into project management will lead to a success or enhancing the success of project management, why organizations are still ignoring or deferring their attention to knowledge? You have to ask why. Because in less than an hour, I brought out some of the major contributions, proven contributions of KM to PM. But you have to wonder why organizations are ignoring or deferring this. Are they, completely in the wilderness? Have they never heard of KM before? Well, they've heard about it before. Some of the reasons are here, right? They may not want to commit to KM because, it's not instant to see results, tangible results from KM. KM needs investment, and it's hard to justify this investment and directly link it to tangible result. The organization may not have the expertise. They don't even know what's step one in KM, right? They don't have any KM specialists, right? Some organizations fear that if they start addressing KM, there may be tension among staff about hoarding knowledge, about feeling unsafe about the position because their competitive advantage or the value for existence in the organization may be compromised, right? A silly thought, but it happens. And there may be leadership changes, which does not help in implementing KM because some leaders may not be as supportive as other leaders, put it this way. And as I mentioned on the bottom right there, the cultural resistance and the change elements are always a stumbling block in embarking on project management involvement in an organization. So because of that, I have to say that at the moment, very few organizations are actually, putting a strong focus of knowledge in project management. They seem to be dealing with everyday problems rather than, thinking hard about how to weave the knowledge dimension into project management. All right, so as a summary, to what I've said in this seminar, project management intensive knowledge intensive activities, and identify the bottlenecks and shortfalls in project management that can help to enhance the project management success. This inadequate knowledge flow and massive knowledge loss and leakage, and these have led to significant negative impact on project success. A plethora of tools, methods, systems exist in the field of KM. It's really up to the specialists in the organization to carefully pick, align, customize the type of tools and initiatives to suit their organization. Knowledge processes, knowledge repository, codification, network communities, collaboration tools, and especially are especially promising to enhancing project management. And putting that with cases from many companies, including IBM, Siemens, World Bank, Ford Motors. Well, maybe in another seminar, I can talk about how AI can enhance knowledge services to be more dynamic, user-driven with personalization. But I didn't cover that today. But still, I think we have come a long way. And, I'm glad that I'll stop here and pass the mic back to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Eric Tsui. We've had a wonderful lesson today. I've learned a lot about how KM can actually help us in organizations. There is one question, though, in the text. I don't know if I can read it for you or you can...
Yes, please. Just read out.
Okay, the first question that we have here is, to what extent can digital tools and AI enhance knowledge management in project management today? Note that this question was actually sent during the session, so yeah.
Right, okay, so I said that it can be a subject of another seminar, but I can, give you a heads up. Basically, also in these 5 areas that we have discussed before in knowledge clarification, AI can help to generate minutes, summaries, and follow-up actions for meetings in knowledge repository. And AI can help to access fragmented repositories, which have been a troublesome problem for many IT systems. Ensures integrity of information. AI can help to maintain, discover, and expand knowledge networks, right? Again, remember, it's ensuring the dynamic capabilities. But not only that, but it can help, to customize these access for individuals. So in other words, role-based, customize and deliver role-based, customized information to members. And knowledge processes, dynamically user-driven, customized workflows with embodied knowledge as well. And I can give you an example on that. For example, now that you have AI implemented, among the mountains of knowledge in an organization, AI can help to identify the critical knowledge, the more important knowledge among the others. And for example, when a staff need to ask about best practices, for example, summarize the topic XYZ in less than 200 words, including the latest, and include the names of experienced colleagues. AI can help that the latest regarding XYZ is blah, 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 and you may contact the following persons, because they have expertise in these projects. Now expand the summary, as the user said, by incorporating relevant information in the public domain. Wow, we are expanding the best practices, not just by collecting things inside the organization, but going to the public as well. So integrating, expanding the body of knowledge about best practices to incorporate external knowledge and limit your response to 300 words. Sure, here it is. Use the extended response. So I think that is my extended response to that question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it really does. I would also wish to ask if we can actually have another session on the AI in detail. But like you said, I think we can have it on another date. Another question comes on, and it says the following. How can project managers capture tacit knowledge before it is lost at the end of the project? At the end of a project, per se?
Well, that is a very general question. And I would say that if you remember what I just said about 5 minutes ago, we have to be astute about the concept of critical knowledge. No organization will have the resources to attend to capturing all knowledge. Capturing all knowledge does not work, and it's foolish, because we just build up mountains and mountains of explicit document, right? So it's important to identify what are the critical knowledge and only focus on the critical knowledge to capture. The capture is one thing, right? And in fact, capturing knowledge, these two words doesn't mix together. You can't capture knowledge really, right? So I would say that partially, maybe to convert some of the tacit knowledge to explicit knowledge, but also leveraging on the concept of communities, right? So enabling people who are knowledgeable in certain topic to mix and share, to help people who are hungry or in need of that piece of knowledge. Okay, create an environment for a community, create an environment, a trusted environment for collaboration. So I think with a careful balance of those things, of course, never 100%, but we are making good progress towards reducing the risk of the loss of tacit knowledge.
And seeing that the lesson was clear, we did not have as many questions as usual. Thank you very much, Professor Eric Tsui, for such a wonderful lesson that you've given us. And I would also love to thank everyone that has attended this session. We're looking forward to looking at how AI, because it is a new norm, it is a new target where everyone wants to know about AI and how they can use that in knowledge management. I think we have had enough sessions on this as well, but we would love to dive deeper in with you, Professor Eric Tsui. So I would love to hand over to you if you have any last words before we close today's session.
Well, thank you for your support, and I think my next session is in about 4 weeks' time, end of January, and that's about a different topic, but about AI in project management. We can schedule it, maybe in Q1 of 2026, and I'll look forward to doing that. I'll work with the organizing team to make that happen. Okay.
Thank you very much, Professor Eric Tsui. As usual, we meet next time, like he said, at the end of January. We'll meet for another session. Keep coming and keep learning and keep growing. Thank you very much. And with that,
also, finally, I'm not sure whether it's in your culture, but Merry Christmas and have a successful 2026.
Merry Christmas to you too, Professor Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.